Germany, which has become the model upon which the entire West will be refashioned amidst its own self-abolishment, has yet made it again very clear that the traditional notions of what it is to be German are no longer reconcilable. In a strange, horrifyingly obvious attempt to impose the new social narrative, last year, the widely circulated parenting magazine Baby und Familie published an article that embodied wholly the decline of European civilization. The title of the piece was Gefahr von Recht, or Danger from the Right. In it was depicted an artist's renderings of solely blonde mothers with their blonde children in various settings such as playgrounds or daycare centers. However, the accompanying text was thinly veiled, deliberately anti-German doublespeak. The writer warned of a rise in right-wing extremism among middle-class native Germans, especially in the eastern rural areas. Parents, the writer cautioned, should be vigilant at all times, but that the warning signs were easily detected if one knew what to look for. And what are these indicators, she asked. 1. If the children are inconspicuous, cute, and engaged. 2. The family is generally nice and dedicated to one another. 3. If the children are cleanly clothed, obedient, and not overly loud. 4. The parents and children do not have American logos on their clothing. 5. If the children exhibit attentiveness beyond their years. 6. If the young girls often exhibit accurately braided hair and wear long skirts. 7. If the parents try to build personal relationships with other parents. 8. If the parents state that they want to build, quote, a better community. And 9. If the family seems too normal. So basically, if the parents and children are modeled on traditional German values and principles, then they are likely to be some kind of neo-Nazi kinsfolk. This underhanded betrayal of German culture is stomach-churning to say the least, but it has an ulterior objective that is less obvious. It intends to make a corrupted vision of an ideal family. This is not just an attack on classical European or Christian values. It is an assault on the very fabric of German society. The end result can only be a degenerate form of the family paradigm, and for a magazine that receives government support, this is completely outrageous. One must come to the rational conclusion, then, that the German government is intentionally breaking down the moral standards of its own native people, where things such as dedication towards others, sense of community, mindfulness, high self-esteem, and happiness within the family unit are held in contempt and no longer valued. The NGO think tank that was consulted for this article, the Amadeu Antonio Foundation, is partly run by former Stasi agents whose mission has not changed in the 25 years since the Berlin Wall fell: global Marxism and the annihilation of the nation-state. If this means wiping out the cultural value systems of entire peoples, then so be it. The thin veneer of their operation uses the typical rhetoric of a pro-democratic, one-world community organization, but the reality is quite the opposite, and the danger this group poses to Germans is far-reaching. The fact that thousands of young progressive liberals and socialists make up the bulk of its volunteer army gives it an impetus that will last for decades. The harm this will do shall continue for several generations, or at least until German identity is utterly put to death. Annette Kahan, the founder of the Amadeu Antonio Foundation, has for years pushed the notion that Germany will fail as a state unless unmitigated millions of third world migrants enter the country as saviors. One of her closest associates and foundation member, Julia Schramm, has even gone so far as to state that Germans are not human and that we must betray Germany. Heike Radvan, the well-known third-wave feminist and gender specialist, is also a contributor to this organization's philosophical system. With such a nihilistic, self-serving intelligentsia at its core, this group will effectively rush the German nation headlong into a nightmarish and brutal end. That is, of course, if the blondes don't fight back.